Why, hello everybody, and welcome to the Truly Odd Podcast, where we bring you the latest in game news and movie news. I am your host, Joe Garcia. So grab your controllers, get your popcorn, and let's go ahead and dive right into the topic, shall we? Starting with our first game news topic of the day, Jurassic Park Survival behind the scene featurette has just dropped. Let's go ahead and jump over here this article on IGN and look at some of this imagery here. This looks just phenomenal. I'm loving the look of the T Rex and really great callback to the movie with the scene of the T-Rex. And here we have some imagery. Forgive me if you guys can't see it in fully here. I can expand it, but a little bit of it will be cut off here on the right. But let's go ahead and take a look here. Now, mind you, this is pre-rendered and alpha footage, so things are subject to change. Graphics could be improved and edited as needed depending on the development cycle. But just judging it from what it is right here in the alpha footage, this looks absolutely phenomenal, and hopefully this game turns out as good as it looks. Now let's go ahead and jump over here to YouTube and take a look at some of the footage. Hold on, let me make an adjustment here so you guys can Okay, now I have to put this on mute because of, YouTube's a bit of a bitch. But go ahead and look at the visuals as I tell you a little bit more about what they're discussing. So Saber Entertainment is showcasing the pre-alpha footage of gameplay, mechanics, and story detailing the Jurassic Park Survival, a first-person survival horror game that's set one day after the events of the 1993 film. You'll play Dr. Maya Joshi, forgive me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, and an InGen scientist left behind on Izanubar as she navigates a dinosaur-infested park using stealth, distractions, and survival tactics against uh, threats like velociraptors, Dilophosauruses, and the T-Rex. The game is in development for PS5, Xbox Series X, PC, and there is no confirmed release date as of yet. But I think this looks phenomenal, and while if you guys are interested in checking out this whole article, go ahead and this whole YouTube video. I'll have everything in the description down below if you guys want to check it out for yourself and everything that they're discussing. But one thing I wanted to bring up is I think they got this idea from a couple YouTubers. If I'm not mistaken, I remember them specifically. There was a YouTuber who specifically was working on making a game in Unreal that looked just like Jurassic Park, and there was a lot of licensing issues and stuff, so he had to make adjustments and make it a different type of game, and this looks very similar to what he was doing. And I don't know if that's because that they were developing this the whole time, or if they kind of picked it up from his idea, but I think it's great seeing a studio finally take what people thought was very interesting on a YouTube video and actually making it into fruition. I think this is going to be very successful. Hopefully, he's working alongside them for this project because do feel it was his idea. Maybe he just had it out first. Who knows? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you interested in checking out this Jurassic Park survival game? Moving on to our next topic, Assassin's Creed devs speak up about the future of the series. So this comes to us from Game Rant. So let me give you guys some of the details. Ubisoft confirms ongoing development for future updates, with Assassin's Creed Shadow reaching over 5 million players and becoming the franchise's second biggest launch behind Valhalla. The Assassin's Creed versus Templar conflict will be expanded. Hold on, let me make sure I'm reading. Yeah, will be expanded as developers deepen the storyline through future content and DLC, having only hinted at it in the base game. The modern game narrative, the modern day narrative is being reimagined with the introduction of the Animus Hub, laying the groundwork for future storytelling. So essentially, this is a little sad. The Assassin's Creed franchise has kind of fallen off quite a bit. They really went away from what they were doing initially with introducing modern day characters going into their historical pasts and playing the lives of their ancestors. Whereas now they kind of fallen apart. And mind you, I might be wrong about this because I haven't really played a lot of the games since I think the last one I played was Black Flag or Unity. I can't, or no, Syndicate was it? I can't remember the exact last one I played, but overall, I stopped watching the franchise because they kind of fell away from the modern day storytelling. The hopes for a lot of fans was you were learning about history, learning this gameplay, and then as the main day character, what was his name again? Devlin. whatever the main guy's name was. Um, you were hoping he would pick up these skills and then they would make a modern day Assassin's Creed game where he took up the skills from his ancestors and now introduce him to a modern day setting, maybe introduce new weapon gameplay with guns and mechanics like that. So that was the hope that a lot of the fans were hoping where the franchise would go, and then they mostly stuck to the past and completely avoided the modern day storyline, from my understanding. Now, if I'm incorrect about that, please let me know. I'm very curious if they actually kept the what's this machine called, the the animus and things like that. Because I really don't know. I haven't been following along with the story or following along with the franchise all that much, but from my understanding, they kind of went away from that, and I'm now it seems like they're kind of going back to that for what fans real initially wanted. And I don't think this is the game to do that with, only because it doesn't make sense for the initial narrative of this story to not really focus on what the modern day part of the franchise is, and having it just be introduced in future content and DLC makes no sense. They need to have a full game kind of focused on a new modern day character and do it that way, in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think. Did you like Assassin's Creed Shadows? Are you hoping that they focus on more modern day aspects of it? And is there a story already ongoing that I have no idea about? Let me know what you guys think. Moving on to our next game news topic of the day. Yesterday we spoke about rumors regarding Resident Evil, and now there are more additional details coming out about Resident Evil Requiem, and it may be Leon Kennedy's final send off in the franchise as he kind of ages out of the franchise. This comes to us from Game Rant. Let me give you guys a little bit of the details. Resident Evil Requiem introduces Grace Ashcroft as the new playable protagonist and is confirmed to be released on February 27, 2026. Leon S. Kennedy will return as a co-lead character, with insiders reporting suggesting that the game will be a series, his final send-off, making it his final major role in the franchise timeline as he enters into his 50s. So I think this is really sad to see a character like this go. From my understanding, at least in my opinion, Leon has been the main protagonist of the Resident Evil franchise in my head for I don't even know how long I can remember. Only because I kind of only came in around the Resident Evil 4 era, and I think that's kind of where he picked it. I do remember playing the classic ones when I was younger, but I never really could figure out how to play it. I was like 7, 8 years old, so I got frustrated and just gave up. But I do think it's time, now that I'm playing Resident Evil Biohazard and Resident Evil Village, I do think it's a great opportunity for me to pick up the remakes of the original classic games and, you know, actually continue and understand what the story is. Because honestly, after Resident Evil, I think the only one I played really was Resident Evil 5, and that wasn't even Leon's story. So I'm very mixed information and knowledge about the franchise. Most of the knowledge I know is from the movies, and I don't even think that character of, I forget her name, but I don't even think she's even part of the video game franchise. So let me know what you guys think. You guys are probably well more versed in the Resident Evil lore than I am. Right now, I only know Ethan's storyline for the most part, and I know Leon as the face of Resident Evil because I've seen him the most in my life that I can recall. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think it's sad that this is going to possibly be his send-off? Mind you guys, this is a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt. It might not be the case. But do you think it's sad to see him go? Or are you hoping that this is not the case and we don't see him pass away or have a nice goodbye into the sunset? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Moving on to our next game news topic of the day. It looks like Lords of the Fallen 2 will have its reveal at Gamescom 2025. So if you have not played Lords of the Fallen, I really enjoyed it. It's a Souls-like game where you kind of go into two different worlds and you can progress in an interesting way. I do find the game very entertaining. I ended up beating it myself. I had a good time with it. I also liked that I can go into my friend's world and give him equipment and help him progress through the levels. If you have not played the Lords of the Fallen, I highly recommend it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. But let me give you some detail. Let me give you guys some details about Lords of the Fallen 2. Okay. CI Games will fully unveil Lords of the Fallen 2 at Gamescom opening night live on August 19th, 2025, following strong anticipation and over 5.5 million players from its 2023 reboot. Built in Unreal Engine 5, it is slated for release in 2026. It will feature refined gameplay systems, new game modes, a shared progression co-op system alongside a single player campaign. Lords of the Fallen 2 will launch on PS5, Xbox Series X, PC, but will be exclusively on the Epic Game Store and will not be featured on Steam. And that's kind of controversial. A lot of people have issues with it not coming to Steam, especially a lot of PC players who strictly utilize Steam. I'm sure that that's quite upsetting. If you're a PC player that only plays on Steam, let me know what you guys think of this. Is this upsetting for you that you're not going to be able to purchase it unless you go to the Epic Game Store? Or will you kind of focus on the console aspect of it? I think eventually they're going to release it on Steam after initial kind of launches. I think it's interesting seeing a a store like Epic Games kind of do what PlayStation's doing, where they make it exclusive on them PC wise, and then possibly get another pickup of purchases later on when they release it to Steam eventually. But we'll have to see what they end up doing with that on their end. But as far as Lords of the Fallen, I had no idea that they were going to be developing a Lords of the Fallen 2. This is the first time hearing about it. So this is exciting news for me, as I really enjoyed the first game. And I'm hoping to pick up this second game when it comes out later in 2026. But let me know what you guys think. Are you excited for Lords of the Fallen 2? And are you going to be looking for some gameplay when Gamescom comes out in August? Wait, are we in August? Oh, snap. Jesus. We're about to get some gameplay soon. So we'll talk about it possibly next Tuesday. I don't know why. I thought for whatever reason we were still in July. My mind is just all over the place. Anyways, moving on to our next game news topic of the day. It looks like we are going into our Battlefield 6 beta week 2, and we now have some week 2 details that have dropped. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these details. Now, there's a fuller breakdown in this article if you guys are interested in seeing it on what the day-to-day will be, of course, but let me go ahead and read you guys a quick summary of what we got going on here. Weekend 2 runs from August 14th to August 17th, featuring daily rotating playlists, including Conquest Rush, Breakthrough, Squad Death Match, Domination, King of the Hill, and Closed Weapon All Out Warfare. Dice, excuse me. Dice introduces a custom search feature allowing players to prioritize preferred maps and modes combinations. So you'll be able to look up a conquest on whatever map you particularly like to play, or domination or whatever. So that's going to be a nice feature introduced here. The beta continues to draw massive interest with over 500,000 consecutive players on Steam during week 1, and PC players must enable was it secure bot to participate. That's their anti-cheat software. So hopefully that ends up working out well. Here's a more detailed breakdown right here in the article of what we're going to be seeing from day 1, day 2, and day 3. If you guys are interested in that, or day 3 and 4 here, if you guys are interested in that, I don't see anything mentioning maps. Let me see. Epic Game Pass Express expansive maps. Hopefully that means we get to see some new maps here as far as the bigger maps are concerned, but I don't see anything stating a specific map that's going to be listed. So hopefully we do end up getting some maps that are detailed here. But let me know what you guys think. Are you excited for this week 2 of Battlefield? As soon as I'm done recording this, I'm going to jump on and see if Battlefield's available. Sadly, I have to go to Vegas tomorrow night, so I'm going to be in Vegas from Friday night to Saturday night, so I won't be able to play the beta until hopefully Sunday. I'm going to try to get home Saturday night so I can play that all night. But yeah, I'm a little saddened that I have 2 days that were already kind of booked for me that I can't really play Battlefield. But, you know, this is just the beta. I still have to wait till October for the game. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you excited for what is new to come for the second week of Battlefield 6 beta? And that does it for our game news topics of the day, guys. We're going to go ahead and move on to our movie news topics, starting with our first movie news topic of the day. NBC Universal lands the rights to Jason Bourne and Treadstone after a massive bidding war. So I guess they had a bidding war with 7 different studios for the rights to Jason Bourne. And mind you, Universal was the one that did the initial release of the 2003 film, The Bourne Identity, and have been the sole distributor of those movies, as far as I know. And So let me go ahead and read to you guys some of these details here in this article. NBC Universal has acquired the full rights to Jason Bourne and Treadstone book series in perpetuity, meaning always, I guess. Securing the franchise future access of films, television, streaming, and theme parks after competitive auction involving several bidders. A new Jason Bourne film is in development with Ed Berg attached to direct, and a script by Joe Barton. Longtime producer Frank Marshall will continue to oversee the franchise, and Matt Damon may return to reprise his iconic role though the project is not yet greenlit. So now we have a possible Jason Bourne franchise. I mean, after they've just had a massive bidding war and possibly spent millions of dollars purchasing the rights to this, they're gonna definitely want some movies coming out so they can make some money and make a profit off of what they just bid it on. But I do think this franchise, even though the last Jason Bourne film wasn't that good, it's a lot of potential where this franchise can go. It can be Matt Damon's Mission Impossible or his James Bond. They can recast and start all over from the beginning with another new Bourne identity told from a different actor's perspective, a different director. So there's a lot of ways they can go with this franchise. So I'm curious where they're going to end up doing. I would love to see Matt Damon return and possibly team up with Hawkeye's character. What is his name? I can't. Oh, Jesus, I hate it when I do this. Hold on one second, guys. What is Hawkeye's name? Jeremy Renner. There it is. So I would like to see possibly Matt Damon and Jeremy Renner's characters both team up from the Bourne legacy and the Bourne identity. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you hoping that we get a new Jason Bourne out of this deal that was done? Moving on to our next movie news topics of the day. It looks like we're getting a Sinead O'Connor. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing her name wrong. Sinead O'Connor biopic is currently in development. Go ahead and take a look at it here. A biopic exploring Sinead O'Connor's early life and rise to fame is in development, directed by Joseph Decker and written by Stacey Grigg. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing their names wrong. With BBC Films funding the project and development. The film will, chronicle O'Connor's journey from Dublin to global stardom, highlighting her Grammy-winning success, cultural impact, and fearless activism. And I think a big portion of that will also include her, not fight, but her protest against the Christian church as she did on Saturday Night Live that one time, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, if you guys are interested in Sinead O'Connor's story, we will be getting a biopic from her. I don't personally know her music, and if I do, I don't know if she's the singer. I probably will recognize the song, but didn't know she was the one singing it. But I do think it's good. Also having biopics, it's always interesting to learn new artists and their stories and what happened. Sadly, Sinead O'Connor passed away in 2023 at the age of 56. So we lost a star at a very young age, in my opinion. So it'd be interesting to see what her story is and what led to her life and her success. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Moving on to our next movie news topic of the day. It looks like Ron Howard is Ron Howard has come out to talk about overtaking the Star Wars Solo movie from Lord and Miller, and gave us some details that we never had before. So Howard stepped in after tonally. I'm reading this wrong. One second. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I did read that wrong. Howard stepped in after a tonal disconnect between Lucasfilm and the original directors Philip Lord and Chris Miller, saying that the studio wanted more traditional Star Wars tone and asked him to reshoot the film to match more of what the script was. He consulted with George Lucas before committing, who advised him to remember that the film was made for 12-year-old boys, and that helped Howard shape the tone of the movie going forward. So here's some other details that he mentioned here in the article. They basically said we're reaching to creative impasse with Lord and Miller. Would you ever consider coming in? I looked at some of their edited footage. He's talking about Lord and Miller's footage when they were directing, and saw what was bothering them. There was a studio that liked the script way the way it was and wanted a Star Wars movie, but there was a disconnect early in the tone, and they weren't convinced that Philip and Chris were doing the work effectively. So yeah, if you guys want to read more about what Ron Howard had to say, but I do find this interesting that a studio and a team like uh, uh, Philip Lord and Chris Miller would have such a tonal disconnect. The whole point of a head of studio and someone that's bringing in directors is to make sure that they're on the same page going into developing a film. So unless Chris Miller and Philip Lord went in with saying, yeah, we agree, and then just changed it on them and figured they would do their own thing, which makes no sense. These two are very well-known professionals, so I very much doubt that they did that. I think they had in general just an idea, and then Philip Lord and Chris Miller kind of were during the filming process, and they felt like, okay, let's do a little extra, let's ad lib here, let's make it a little more fun, or wanted to do a little bit of extra to improve upon what was already scripted. Because sometimes when you're there on the day and in the moment when filming, it is fun to try to change things around depending on the type of filmmakers that you are. But I'm thinking that Kathleen Kennedy and the script writer for this were more set stone of they wanted people to just shoot the movie for what it was and not deviate from the script. And I think they deviated too far from the script here. It's really sad to see this happen. Sadly, this caused the budget to balloon to over $300 million, which made Solo, I think, the highest budgeted film in Star Wars history at the time. I think it's been passed since then, but it did fail at the box office, and that is due to a lot of different standards. There was a lot of development issues. People were kind of falling off Star Wars. People didn't want to see someone else take over the role of Han Solo when we just saw Harrison Ford. So there was a lot of factors leading into the failure of this film, and not saying that it was a complete and utter flop, but it was not a complete success as they wanted. But let me know what you guys think of Ron Howard's comments. Are you happy to hear him come out and finally say what happened on his end and what made him take over the directing role? And are you interested in seeing how the tonal differences were between the directors and the studio? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Moving over to our next movie news topic of the day, and it's kind of our last one. I kind of split this into two different topics because there's kind of two different things going on here in these articles. So let me kind of break them down for you. So the first thing that I want to discuss regarding these are both stories regarding Skydance and Paramount. But let's first start with this one. Skydance CEO David Ellison prioritizes Top Gun 3, Star Trek, and World War Z. So he just had a kind of announcement with some of the press and stuff like that. Ellis is prioritizing theatrical releases and relative dormant franchises, including Top Gun 3, Star Trek, World War Z, Transformers, G.I. Joe, while also greenlighting original projects like High Side from Timothy Chalamet and James Mangold, which we spoke about the other day. His leadership approach emphasizes the long-term value, creative autonomy, and unfolding brand strategy amidst the. Sorry, someone came in to talk to me. Can I help you? I'm recording.
Yes.
Yeah. Then no one could see you because I'm on this screen. You want to hold on? Wait. Go ahead. Now they can see you. Go ahead. That's my brother, guys. Get out of here. I gotta go.
Don't worry, I'll be on next week's episode, ladies and gentlemen. Big Daddy Jack's coming through hard as fuck.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Let me finish up here.
You podcast the shit out this thing.
All right, I will do. Anyways, let me continue where I left off. I'm gonna start over from reading that. All right. His leadership approach emphasizes a large-term value, creative autonomy, and unified brand strategies amid a restore of Paramount to being one of the top places to go for filmmakers and TV development for Star Trek and things of that sort. Forgive me, I'm befuddled because of my brother. Anyways, so Top Gun 3 is a top priority following the success, of course, of Top Gun Maverick. Star Trek, he's looking to revitalize the franchise, potentially unifying the film and television, kind of how Marvel is doing. World War Z is also back on the conversations for future development. Now, there's been a long waited for World War Z 2 with Brad Pitt, but I'm not sure if they're going to reboot the franchise or if they're going to try to do a sequel. We'll have to wait and see what they do there. But I do think it's interesting what he's doing. You know, this is a CEO who's had a lot of success with Sundance to the point where they were able to purchase it Paramount. And Paramount is a well-known studio in the industry, and they kind of want to bring it back to the forefront, which kind of leads us into our next topic regarding Paramount, which is the following, and our last topic of the day. Leadership at Skydance Paramount has no interest in original streaming movies. Essentially meaning, and let me break this down for you. Theatrical releases are the cornerstone of Paramount film strategy, with CEO David Ellis declaring that the debut over streaming first films finished. Wait, did I read that right? Debating. Wait, let me read this again. Sorry, guys. Theatrical releases are the cornerstone of Paramount film strategies, with CEO David Ellis declaring that the debate is over. Streaming first films finished, emphasized that only theatrical backed campaigns develop lasting impact and value. Ugh, Jesus, sorry guys. President Jeff Shell supports flexible theatrical windows, stating that different films warrant different release strategies, but re-emphasized that theatrical exhibition remain critical to maximizing movie commercial potential. And then lastly, streaming movies are deprioritized under the new leadership, as Paramount head of streaming Cindy Holland bluntly said, "Streaming movies are not a priority for me," signaling a shift toward serialized content and theatrical first storytelling. Sorry that took me a while to get through, guys, and sorry I can't read very well. I am dyslexic, but I try my best. Anyways, moving on. I do think this is great for them as a studio. If over the years we have noticed that the most successful streaming films are films that were released theatrically. Movies that are released strictly on streaming, like on Netflix and stuff like that, don't do as well as those movies, and that's because most of the viewership are people that went to the theater and want to rewatch it again. And I do think it's more beneficial for streamers to release theatrically first, only because let's say they make a movie for $200 million and it only makes $300 million at the box office. Let's say even it only makes $100 million at the box office. That's still more money than they would have made had they released it to streaming, because releasing a movie to streaming is only available for streamers, and that's not going to keep people subscribed for months to come. You know, TV shows, yes, because you can extend them in two parts, kind of how Netflix is doing, or a weekly release, which can keep people on for 2 to 3 months, depending on the streaming service. So it makes more sense for a studio to try to make their money up front, and kind of how they used to do back in the day with a DVD release, where they make their movie in theaters, and then if that movie didn't break even or make its money, it'd probably break even or make its money back on the DVD market. That's kind of how they want to strategize for streaming, and I think this is a great opportunity, since Paramount has new leadership and new people coming in, to really emphasize on the theatrical aspect of their releases, and then utilize those movies to kind of keep people coming to their streaming service to watch those movies. So this is good. And of course, we got news of a Top Gun 3 coming out, which is of course going to be phenomenal. Tom Cruise is going to do his thing. He always fucking kills it when he makes movies. So this is a very exciting time to be a fan of Paramount and their franchises. Hopefully we get good and exciting things going forward. Hopefully we can pick up on the G.I. Joe franchise and the Transformers franchise and figure out a way to go from there, and kind of use better, not better directors and stuff like that. I'm not saying everyone did a better job, but make it a little better, get it on the right path to where it needs to go, because we kind of haven't had it be as successful as it should be, in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you excited for the new direction of Paramount, and do you agree with them focusing solely on theatrical releases over streaming original movies? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Yeah, and that's a wrap for today's episode of the Truly Odd Podcast, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe. And always, guys, remember, stay true, be odd.